We are live.
Okay, all right, good evening. Chairman Jones is not here, so I will call the meeting to order. Get started. We do have a quorum of 4 members here, and we would join me in saying the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. John, we're going to start with the swearing in for our newly elected board members.
So Robert Warren, Carrie Oldright, and Bonnie Brewer.
Can you hold for just a moment? Sorry, we're having technical difficulties. We do not have voice on the recording and we have to have it. So we just a moment.
I'm gonna pause, wait for the.
Do I get a do-over, a second chance? That was my practice shot.
That was, it was a good start.
Thanks.
You nailed it. You got all the agenda items.
Hey, John, we did, we're good.
So Robert Warren, Carrie Oldright, and Bonnie Brewer, would you please stand and prepare for the oath of office? It's short and sweet and follow along with me. Raise your right hand if you like, cross your heart, it's up to you. I state your name. Do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States,
That I will support the Constitution of the United States,
the Constitution and the laws of the state of Oregon,
the Constitution and the laws of the state of Oregon,
and the policies of the Reedsport School District.
and the policies of the Reedsport School District.
During my term,
During my term,
I will faithfully and impartially
I will faithfully and impartially
discharge the responsibilities of the office
discharge the responsibilities of the office
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability.
Sent you a new link for it. We need to get that one put up on the website.
I will send it to Michelle now.
Can hear you.
Mute your speakers to hear.
We now have properly seated school board members in attendance.
Okay, I'll let you figure out the sound. Let me know if you don't have any.
Thank you so much.
I will entertain any changes to the agenda. Yes.
Got it. Thank you.
Oh, I like the view too.
This is a brand new system
Sure.
and the interfaces are a little bit different. While we have fewer doors and fewer devices in the center of the floor, there's a learning curves for us. There's always learning curves.
I would like to make a change to the action item.
Does that have to be a motion, John?
Yeah, you'll need to,
I need to make a motion, to make a change to the action item
please.
to add policy DJ at a number D at the end.
So. Second?
Second.
All right. All in favor, raise your right hand. Unanimous. So we're adding policy, or item D, policy rewrite fiscal DJ.
Yep. Thank you very much.
And if that's everything, then we'll move on to election of, this says 2022, 2023, John, I just noticed.
But let's do 23, 24 instead.
Yeah, let's do that. So we can do that as just a quick change.
Yep.
We're gonna do 2023, 2024, board chair and vice chair. I'll entertain a motion for nominations to the elected board chair.
I nominate Carrie Jones to the position of board chair.
We have a second.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay. So we've elected Carrie Jones as board chair for 2023, 2024. Entertain a motion to elect a board vice chair for 2023, 2024.
I nominate Bonnie Brewer.
Have a second for that? Second that, okay. All in favor, raise your right hand. Got it. Consensus, Bonnie Brewer. Elected to board vice chair. Is there anything else we need to do?
Those are your positions.
All right.
So, you want to hand the gavel over?
We can commence.
Yeah.
Okay, sounds good. Bonnie, you're in charge.
Okay, I see, our next item on the agenda is accolades.
So Missy Watts is here with her student who I'll let her introduce, and we get to enjoy a regional essay contest winner.
Do you want us to stand the left or stand?
I will start with you.
What do you want? I think. So right here. Okay, so hi.
If you're in the middle, you'll be on the screen.
Yeah, this is my student Harper, and in fifth grade, we dig pretty deeply into social studies. We do a lot. We do the Constitution, we do the Declaration of Independence, we do the American Revolution, we've learned the states and capitals. We have learned westward expansion, French and Indian War. And after all these deep conversations, Harper is usually at the very core of it. She entered a contest. I told them about it on Friday. She wrote this essay and her mom drove her to Coos Bay at just like right before it ended. So it was a team effort. She ended up, this is through the Elks Club. She won first place for the Roseburg area, and she won second place overall for Southern Oregon. So
Nice.
the beauty about this essay is to reflect on all we've learned this year, and she really nailed it. So this is Harper Sturgeon.
American dream. I think the American dream is to be free to be able to go to school, graduate, college, and get a degree to get a well-paying job and a house of your own to raise a family. It also means to be treated equally as others, no matter what gender, race, age, or religion. Anyone should be able to start their own business if they want to, and not be told no because you're different. Freedom is being able to vote for what you believe in. It also means if you don't believe in something, you should be able to vote against something. Freedom is voting for a president, mayor, senator, even captain. Freedom is being happy and retiring and going on vacations and not having to work or worry about money. Anyone should be able to eat and buy groceries when they need to. If you want to play a sport, that one gender is playing. Whoever's managing the sport should not go gender. In the sport, any gender should be able to wear what they want to wear, not be judged. Freedom is people being able to leave their house when they need to, or just have to leave due to an emergency. Anyone should be able to apply for a job and not just vote, race, or shade of skin. Nobody should be treated differently because of their race, gender, age, or religion. Everybody and anyone should be able to move to America and feel safe. Nobody should be arrested if they didn't do anything illegal. People should be able to buy something and not be judged.
Very nice. Thank you, Harper. That was quite impressive. You should have won.
Sure that Harper and Missy and the board.
I'm good.
Can we have the parents for this?
Absolutely, please.
Stuart, would you like this?
They're from the board, so they're back to you.
Mr. Superintendent, come with us.
Okay. Get the whole board and you. Ready? 1, 2, smile. All that.
Thank you.
We are at community comments. Individuals may address the board on agenda items. Thank you, limited to 3 minutes. Thank you so much for coming. You may address the board on a topic not on the agenda as long as it does not pertain to it as a staff member. However, the board reserves the right to refer the matter to the administration. Public comment rules for virtual meetings. Anyone wishing to provide public comment or testimony may submit their comment or testimony in written form or email to the board secretary. Comment and testimony received by 3 p.m. on the day of the meeting will be included in the meeting. Any comment, testimony received after 3 p.m. and through the duration of the meeting will be added to minutes, but will not be included during the meeting. Comment and testimony received after the meeting concludes will be saved for the next regularly scheduled board meeting. Submit comments to Reedsford School District emails. As Tipton at reedsfordk12.org.us. 100 Ranch Road, Reedsford. So do we have any community comments?
Not.
Okay. Let's go to reports. Ms. Rachel, you have reports for us?
I do have reports for you. We are at the point in the fiscal year where we're starting everything new, but still haven't finished closing out everything full. So today we are finalizing payroll for the first teacher payroll of the year, and then 12, 11, and 12-month employees. September is when most of the classified people are paid, so our encumbrances are not in the system yet. So we're just looking at our budget and going, okay, let's make sure our numbers are good. We met with program managers today, and we'll continue to do so throughout the year, so we can make sure that people are charged appropriately where they need to be, and that our budgets don't need to see any changes. Right now, we have an estimated beginning fund balance for this year right at $1 million. It's 990 something or 960 something. Should be in front of you, I hope. So that should be pretty true to where our numbers will end up. We do have a state school fund estimate that has come in higher than what we budgeted because of the budget being passed before the sine die date in June. So we will be doing a supplemental budget if needed for, as we finalize the numbers for the audit, if our general fund revenue is lower than what we need it to be. That money comes in and we don't have, like less than what we budgeted for beginning fund balance. So still a lot of flux happening. All of the grant claims for the 22-23 fiscal year were done before the July 24th deadline cutoff. So they will all show up on the annual federal reports for the fiscal year. And our audit is the 3rd week of September. So we're at. Any questions for me?
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
Property taxes are $2 million.
And those are the
That
property.
is outrageous to me.
Is it?
I think
We have a really big
for
area.
a school, I mean, we got property, but what's the percent? I mean, what are they charging per 1,000 square foot? That how they do it or?
No, it's per $1,000 of assessed value, and it is a permanent tax rate that every school district in the state of Oregon was assessed way before my time. I think it's 4.3822 per 1,000 of assessed value is
Well,
what.
it doesn't sound that bad in those terms, but $2 million.
We have a big tax base, so,
Yeah, I was just, that stood out to me.
Right.
$2 million. It's, wow.
I bet from our timber days, we're down to significant.
Yes.
Our days, yeah, we used to be a lot richer 30 years ago. School district, so.
So the taxes are high, I mean, relatively speaking, rather lower than what they were back then. Or have they, just because of assessed values have gone up?
Yeah, I would say for the times we're in, the district is not receiving money at the same rate it was 30 years ago. We're
Values keep going up, so the taxes keep going up.
yeah. Those days now,
So that's,
we're not rich by any standard.
so that's state and city. Or is that-
that's just the taxes for our school district, region, and the taxes that go directly to the school district.
Property tax.
Yep. So it's significantly less than 30 years ago, like John said, because school districts used to get state managed timber from the ONC lands.
Okay.
And those dollars that came in were much higher at the time. And that money that you receive for local revenue, property taxes are local revenue, and that's deducted from our allocation of the state school fund, yes. So they balance the state school fund based on what your local property taxes are.
Interesting. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions for Rachel?
Mr. Zwimpy,
Fairly short because school is not in session. The big item that's happening right now is seismic retrofit and the related projects. From the roof to the ground, the high school building is being worked over. The major effort in seismic rehabilitation is to tie those pieces of the building together in such a way that it will stand up long enough to get everybody out. I heard somebody say today that it makes the building earthquake proof. It doesn't do that. Earthquakes will still take down the building. The efforts in a seismic rehabilitation is to make it stay up long enough that people can get out safely and not be buried. So the
Go ahead.
the seismic rehabilitation for the classrooms is going to be wrapped up by this Friday. So the classrooms where the teacher, the students need to be in will be ready to go on the 21st. The office area is still going to take another month. We've known that the entire time. And so they're on schedule, but they made sure that the priority was making classroom space available so we can start school on time, which we will. The second half of the project, they've done all the groundwork and all the digging and all the tearing up the base that they have to do. There's going to be a beam that is next summer's project to finish. The grant that we're under is allowed to go over the course of two years. And the scope of the work was enough that ceiling space east to west, right? East half of the project is going to be tied to the building next summer. So they'll be back in the building next summer, finishing it up. While all this has been going on, the school district also has asbestos abatement going on. As long as you're going to tear up floors, we're going to make sure that we take care of asbestos. We put back new material. The kitchen was leveled, floors and tiles. The gym floor got a little bit of media attention. The auxiliary gym is going to be tore up and made structurally sound. There's some spots where it was failing. The main floor is going to be taken down to bare wood, repainted, and come back clean. We already know there's a 1 week delay on that due to broken machinery. And so they had to drive back to Idaho, get their replacement stuff and get back. So they're 4 days behind on what we're expecting, but it shouldn't be too much longer. Highland office is in its final checklist where we've got a window left is the primary thing. But 5 projects going on this summer, a lot of work, a lot of contractors running around, we're busy. Teaching staff, for the most part, have been locked out. Starting next week, when they come back for in-service, those classrooms should look the same as they did when they left in spring. And the office area should be brand new at Highland. And we will be ready to go and we'll be in shape. Questions?
Yeah, you mentioned keeps the building standing long enough to get everyone out. Do we drill on that? I mean, in a 9.0, event, it's about 4 minutes long. And it's not the intensity of the shaking, it's the duration of the shaking. So, and I'm just wondering, in 4 minutes, do we have the ability to get everybody out? And does everybody know to evacuate?
Schools do evacuation drills with their fire department, do those monthly. So getting everybody out, organized to safe meeting spaces is a monthly task. They do the Great Oregon Shakeout in October. So at least once a year, we talk about earthquakes as a way to being under a desk or getting out of the way. It's just the direction that needs to be taken based on what is, they also drill on active shooter drills. And there's a lot of things we need to do to have students stay in place, have students get out, get to meeting places, stay organized, so we can do roll calls on them, make sure where everybody's at. So getting people out of the building is most commonly practiced. That happens over time.
Over to you.
The other thing that I'll note, just for information, the administrative teams, the principals and their office managers and I, we went to breakthrough training, and that was to refresh ourselves. So Ms. Russell learned about a refocusing or recentering on the primary task of the administrators to give feedback, to be providing observation and evaluation of programs and systems so that we ultimately improve student outcomes. If the administrators are doing their best work, they're watching what's happening in classrooms and providing direction and feedback to make it better. The training then focused on what is the relationship between those office managers and those administrators so that other things that could be distractors are dealt with. And the office handles the work, the administrators handle evaluation, feedback, and keeping the systems moving. So 2 days for administrators and 1 day for office managers, because the administrators have to hear it twice to get it through their brains what it's supposed to look like. But it was breakthrough training. That's why last week you couldn't meet and you're meeting now. So that's what's going on over the summer.
The office staff for the high school, now where are they managing to do their business?
They are all over the place. We have the portable office has Principal Euling and Sherry Wall out there. Mrs. McDuffie and Mrs. Johnson I've seen in the counseling office. We have 2 offices built in the library. So between a counselor, dean of students, athletic, attendance secretary, office manager, well, there's a good half dozen adults who've been relocated to the clean available parts of the building or out in the portable. And that portable does have an air conditioner. It's not an oven. Jerry might disagree with me, but it's designed for office space, temporary office
You
space.
say that's about a month out.
Yeah, they're gonna be an extra month in there. If you're on 22nd and you look kind of a circle drive, there's a whole bunch of plywood up. That's not a wall, that's just simply a screen. That entire wall has been taken out and has to be rebuilt seismically to make it stable. And that's that's the big part of the project. There's also a lot of stuff still happening in that area, but that's the one that the public can see from the sidewalk. That entire wall getting tore down and built and all that brick was there, getting jigsaw puzzle back into some system pattern.
So our completion for this part of the seismic is in a month's time too, or
They're saying end of September.
in September?
They've been really good about hitting their deadlines or being just a little bit early.
They moved those
So
things.
this is DSL Builders and JJ Nacito is the vice president of their operation. And he's got a good group and he's keeping them on pace. So great work with them. They've done a good job. They're listening to what we need. They're not changing the outside appearance of the building to make it look different from the down. We really want it to be what everybody knows is our high school for our town. On the news tonight, they refer to this as phase 2. This is the first of the 3 remaining phases, and we know we'll have to go out for a few more seismic retrofit grants over the next several years. So the Pacific Auditorium area, the library, half of the building. So there's more work until the entire building is seismically safe. Right now, we have the gyms that were done when I first arrived. because of the fading rafters and the seismic work there. Now we have the Longwood Street side, classrooms done, and then the remaining part of the building will be down the road. More projects to come.
Thank you.
Also, we have Julie Knoll submitted our English language learner report. It is there for your consumption. Want to submit it, something we get you annually. Put on the website that we've completed, so it's there. Your pleasure.
Any more questions for Mr. Zwimpy? Consent agenda. Do we have motion on the consent agenda?
Will make motion?
Go ahead.
Okay. Make a motion to approve A, B, C, and 1, 2, 3, 4.
Second? We have a second, Bob Moore seconded, Jack Daly's motion. You have a vote? Say aye? Aye. Aye. Motion passed.
John, were we gonna get a chance to meet, our new principal tonight?
She has a family activity that she had to be at
Oh,
tonight.
so she
and
wasn't able to
She was aware
log
of
in.
this, and I think generally principals will be around, but she could not be here this evening, so I'll shoot her a text to let her know that it's official.
Okay.
She's actually been working for a few weeks, so it's nice that this is now formalized, and we can push send on a announcement so the community knows. Rachel points out, you're hired in June, special programs director. Kareem Ross's, is that person, probably received the announcement that you were going to your email, but she's been there with us. July now.
August.
And
How's it going?
Huh?
How's it going?
It's great.
Good.
So happy to be here. We're glad to have you. Yeah, thank you very much.
You stay busy.
Oh, yes, I'm already busy. But you are. We try to oblige in that area. Okay. Item 11, action items. We're going to approve board organization decisions and designations for the fiscal year 23-24. And we're going to designate Chief Administrative Officer John Zwimpy. Designate Deputy Clerk and Business Manager Rachel Amos. Custodian of Funds is John Zwimpy. Designate Budget Officer as John Zwimpy. Designate Auditor Lunar Davidson. Designate Insurance Agent of Record Leslie Insurance Agency. Designate District Legal Counsel Garrett Kemen Robertson, PC OSBA. Designate depositories for school funds, Oklahoma Bank, Oklahoma Government Investment Pool, First Interstate Bank. Authorize superintendent to apply for grant funds. And approve use of alternative education programs. And approval of newspaper of record register guardians review.
Bonnie, you missed number 5. There's 2 more on the second page.
Oh, designate signatory of district checks, John Zwimpy, and which one?
13 and 14.
Oh, yeah, I had that there. I turned the page. Authorize cooperative purchasing agreements with other local education agencies, county, state, and federal. And number 14, authorize the Reedsport School Board as the local public contract review board. Section B, approve updated board calendar with new start time for regular monthly meetings. And do we have any information on that, John?
Do you want
Or
to
we have
complete
a
item
calendar.
A? And then do item B?
I'm sorry.
Do you want to do item A, and get that action item dealt with, and then move on to B?
Okay. Do I have a motion on action, action item A, 1 through 14?
Make a motion that we accept action, approve action A 1 through 13.
Okay, we have a second.
Second.
We have a motion from Jack Daly to accept action item number 11A, 1 through 14, and seconded by Bob Moran. All those in favor, say aye. Aye. It's unanimous. Now we go to action item B.
This is brought up, now that we've had some change in board member composition, I would like to recommend that the school board consider an earlier start time. We had previously designated a 6:30 time slot for the second Wednesday of the month. I'd like to suggest that we move that up. My staff stay a lot later. I think we can still accomplish a meeting with people being able to get to the dais from their jobs if we start earlier, and we can get people home maybe a little bit sooner. Right now, it sounds like most of my administrators are putting out the transport drives at, so I'd like to see if we're entertaining earlier time.
Do we have anybody make a motion for number B?
Or perhaps what time?
Motion to change the time to 5:30 from 6:30.
A motion to change the time from
We want to go earlier?
6:30 to 5:30 for our monthly board meetings. Any discussion on that?
We want to do it earlier?
Then 5:30.
5:30?
Yeah.
Well, it's.
There we go. What do you think?
That'd be beneficial.
It'd be very difficult for me to get here at 5:30 if I'm working, I'm not retired.
Well, we know that.
Yeah.
Will 5:30 work for you?
Yeah, 5:30.
Okay. I second.
Okay, we have a second on that. May I have, let's have a vote. All those in favor of action item B, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Now we have action item C, small desk policy rewrite.
I'll lead you on this. We'll go through the same procedure. And Bob, I think you were watching us do this a little bit, so you got to pull it out, discuss it. I've got my big book of policy here to help us move through that. So C1, policy IA, instructional goals. Polls and questions. Number 2, policy IB, freedom of expression staff. Recommended delete. Number 3, policy IB, freedom of expression proposals. Number 4, policy IBDJA, relationships with homeschooled students, recommended updates. There's an AR attached. Policy IC, school year, school calendar. Policy ICB, religious and cultural holidays proposed.
We're gonna pull out.
Policy ID, school day, recommended delete. Policy IF, curriculum development, recommended updates. Policy IFA, curriculum research, pilot projects, recommended delete. Policy IFA, instructional research, proposed. Policy IFC, Oregon 21st Century Schools Program, recommended delete. Policy IFCA, 21st Century Schools Councils, with recommended updates. Policy IFE, curriculum guides and course outlines, recommended updates. Policy IFF, district provided instruction, recommended delete. Policy IGAC, religion in schools, recommended updates. Policy IGAEA, HIV, AIDS, HCV, and health education, recommended delete. Policy IGAEB, drug, alcohol, and tobacco prevention, health education, recommended updates. Policy IGAEC, anabolic steroid and performance enhancing substances, proposed. Policy IGAI, human sexuality, AIDS, HIV, sexually transmitted diseases, health education, recommended updates. Policy IGAJ, traffic safety education, update. And that's the first page. Keep going. Number 20, second page, policy IGAM, distance learning, recommended for delete. Policy IGB, operational instructional programs, recommended for delete. Policy IGBA, students with disabilities, child identification procedures, with updates. There's ARs attached to that. Policy IGBAB/JO, education records, records of students with disabilities, proposed. There's ARs attached to that. Policy IGBAC, special education, personnel, updates. Policy IGBAE, special education, participation in regular education programs, keep. AR with that. Policy IGBAF, special education, individualized education program, update. ARs attached. Policy IGBAG, special education, procedural safeguards, update. There's ARs attached. IGVAH, special education, evaluation procedures, update. ARs attached. IGBAI, special education, private schools, update. ARs attached. Policy IGBAJ, special education, free appropriate public education, FAPE, update. AR attached. Number 31, third page, policy IGBAK, special education, public availability of state application, update. IGBAL, special education, services for homeschool students with disabilities, update. ARs attached. Policy IGBAM, special education for students not enrolled in district schools, recommended delete. Policy IGBD, talented and gifted program and/or services, recommend update. ARs attached to that. Policy IGBBA, talented and gifted identification, updates. ARs attached. Policy IGBBD, parent rights, notification, and participation, talented and gifted, recommended delete. Policy IGBBE, talented and gifted, student records, recommended delete. Policy IGBC, Title 1A, parental and family involvement, delete. Policy IGBC, Title 1A, parental family involvement, proposed. Number 40, policy IGBD, programs for pregnant students, recommend delete. Policy IGBG, homebound instruction, update. Policy IGBGA, home tutoring services, update. Policy IGBH, alternative school programs, delete. Policy IGBHA, alternative education programs, update. There are ARs attached. Page number 45, policy IGBHB, establishment of alternative education programs, update. ARs attached. Policy IGBHC, alternative education notification, update. Policy IGBHD, program exemptions, update. Policy IGBHE, expanded options programs, update. ARs attached. Policy IGBI, bilingual education, English as a second language, update. And there's ARs there as well. Okay, going back to the beginning, Terry Albright,
Yeah,
policy ICD.
there's some concern around that and, it maybe not being necessary to adopt.
Yeah, that one is optional policy, and I think I've expressed this a few times before. When we don't need to have policy and restrict ourselves even more specifically to what the law requires, I'm not a huge fan of it. So I don't see a need for this. It's optional, and I'm not going to recommend that we pursue this one. So it is number 5, ICB, religious culture holidays is proposed. I would just move that you take no action. It still can be proposed later in the future, but if you don't act on it, then it's not in place. It won't exist for us. Any question about that? So on number 5, when you get there, I would recommend just not taking any action, skipping it. The body, you have number 27, IGBAG.
Yes, and it's on the second page of that policy. And to leave in, and we always have this deal about acronyms. I'm terrible with acronyms. I propose to leave the definition of FAPE in under parent or adult student meeting participation. Paragraph 1, last line, to leave that definition of FAPE as free appropriate public education. Leave that in there so that people that look at our policies and stuff are saying, even though it's defined somewhere else, if it's just right there, then yeah, people have a better chance of knowing what it means.
Have you found that, board members? Do you have questions about that? Seems like just leaving the definition right next to the acronym.
It is the first,
Page IGBAG, page 2. It's under parent or adult student meeting participation. It says FAPE, and then the definition of FAPE is struck through.
right. No, what I'm trying to do is figure out,
It's defined on the first page in the superscript, subscript text. That small print at the bottom. It is defined in policy. All of the one you just suggested, leaving it there where it's visually accessible.
This is on page 2. I'll leave that in right here. It's defined on the first page, at the bottom. But not everybody will find out what that means. I'll leave that in there. See what I'm talking about?
or there's also the possibility that you could to add it in a subtitle. And have it determined at the top of the document, policy document.
That's a good idea too.
Right?
And then you would follow Chicago manual style and have the first notation.
Since this is going to be sample policy, it would be very similar to what other districts have. Leave it where it's at and don't create a new section.
Okay.
We can make the policy look different. No reason that we couldn't have a definition. I think just leaving it where it sits in, where it's stricken right now, we leave it where it's there. We're not
Yeah.
we're not changing the policy from what other districts are going to redefine similarly.
Sure. No, it works.
Any other questions on that?
So I think what I would suggest there is you discuss the revision, accept it as revised,
Okay.
get to number 27.
Hey, John,
Yes.
if we're good with that one, did we want to go back to 20th century schools? I think that's 11. You had said proposed delete and it reads update.
Yeah, IFC A number 11 should be updated, so IFC number 10 should be. Spoke, I apologize.
Okay, so that was an earlier misunderstanding.
Yeah, they
Okay,
got the-
gotcha.
We got the same title almost, one's the.
Okay, so that if we've got the right. Perfect, okay. That's good.
We've gone through all these policies in the section of I. Do I hear a motion for 1 through 4, A and B? Any questions with that? Good with that? With the exception at number 5, we're going to, we're not going to act on number 5. That section. Number 6 through 26, A and B. As stands. Number 27, we're going to revise to add the acronym definition on page 2. That policy. Then we have 27A through 49A, as John has proposed them. Any questions? Gentlemen?
On 49, IGBI, bilingual education. English will be provided. The student will be. So is that just the
Sorry, can
student?
you slow down just a second? Which one are you discussing?
49.
49.
What's the identifier?
IGBI. So the assistance, is that within the classroom? There's another teacher teaching whatever language.
The classroom teacher can be the assistants. We do have ELL teacher. We have some pull-out time for those students who specifically work on second language skills, English language skills. So assistants can look a variety of ways. So I can be the teacher in the classroom, special teacher doing pull-out groups, special time to help those students on their English learning, English acquisition.
Do we currently have a lot of students requiring assistance?
Less than 20 in our district, but we do have members in both buildings.
Okay.
And I don't want to get too much more specific because I'm trying to talk for some identifiable information.
So then is that an extra cost?
No, we've always had this, and this is a regular part of the program we provide so that we stay in compliance with the state offset laws. And it's going to help serve students learning the academic content, the academic curriculum in English. They are improving their English skills. So it's really on support them so that they're staying caught up with their peers.
Right. Thank you.
Have a motion? Policies.
I make a motion that we adopt 1 through 4 and 6 through 26 and 27 through 49.
Okay, it's been made a motion to go ahead and take care of these policies that have been revised, proposed, included, and updated, section 1 through 4.
I didn't hear the motion to not strike through the definition of fake.
I'm sorry.
I didn't hear the motion to not strike through fake. We want to make sure that we're not removing that acronym that you suggested.
Oh, yes. I thought you said faith. I said faith. Sorry.
That's what I thought.
Faith. Yes, would you please update that, Jack, number 27?
What was that one?
27, we're going to revise 27
Oh, yes,
to keep that acronym definition on page 2.
right. I make the motion
Yeah,
to keep it, the
yeah,
acronym
yes.
on
And the
27,
definition,
and the
yes,
definition on 27.
yes.
Yeah, I thought that was already in there. That's okay.
Okay, so continue. Yes.
Yes, and through 49.
Okay, so we are going to, let's start over again. We are going to update, delete, proposed policies number 1 through 4, A and B. Number 5, we're going to not take an action on number 5. We are going in from 6 through 26B. They will be as proposed, updated to keep the 27 will be revised to add that acronym. And then 28 through 49. Okay, Jack's made that motion, so we have a second.
Well, second.
Okay, right, have a vote. Everybody in favor? Aye. Opposed? It's unanimous. We're good to go, gentlemen.
So for D, policy DJ, this is a policy that the board has approved a couple months ago, ran into it, bit of a hiccup, and we understand more clearly today. So I've given all of you policy DJ to look at. Paragraph 4 has a dollar amount of $150. Give me a second to find that. And the intention there is that we have a small enough amount of money that if we need something in a pinch, we can pop down to Ace Hardware or the store and get something we need without going through the entire requisition process, which if I'm unavailable to approve something, could take a day or so. We learned that because a 5-gallon bucket of paint and some rollers cost $212, we were going to have to do a 2-day delay to get that done. We needed the paint in a hurry. $150 doesn't really buy what it used to buy. So I'd like to recommend we increase that dollar amount, only that dollar amount on this policy to make it a little more usable for the appropriate costs of things in today's market.
Is that allowed petty cash?
We don't actually use petty cash. We don't allow petty cash consistently with credit cards, so we can track purchases very specifically. And yeah, petty cash is listed, but we don't use that.
Who has credit card? You?
Myself, maintenance director, the buildings have credit cards. We will check them out to employees that we have to send a team traveling for sporting events, check it out, and they have to return the receipts. There's a high degree of oversight and a second set of eyes. That's why we use it. South Coast ESD, Rich Williams, to make sure that they're not just one person's got the one person who buys on the money. lots of transparency. But I'd like to suggest a higher amount, kind of hear what you might be interested in that moving to.
151.
500, John. That cover most purchases.
That would handle quite a bit of the stuff. I think that's what we have. And I think that was something that Rachel had even brought up today when we were discussing it.
You have a motion on that?
I'll make a motion to change the material and services under 500, paragraph 4 from 150.
Carrie Oaks made a motion to up that $150 to $500. Second.
Second.
Okay, we have a second.
Who got the second one?
Oh, it's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Who's the second?
Bob.
August. Okay. Thank you.
Okay, any opposed? Okay. Everybody in favor, say aye. It's done, John.
Okay, thank you very much. I appreciate that.
To the officers of the room.
Well, discussion, for board work sessions. Dates. We need to choose a different date from September 16th because Mr. Adams will not be available on the 16th of September.
And if I extend that, maybe have a backup. We were to say, for example, the 23rd of next Saturday, if he's not available, we should probably have a second one in our pocket that we're offering him.
Oh, he didn't offer.
He just said he can't do it on the 16th. He didn't offer us any fill-in. So your typical pattern has been to use a Saturday morning. I think if you meet any sooner, where he's generally a pretty busy individual. I don't know if he can get sooner than that. Next Saturday after the 16th would be the 23rd and the 30th.
Any reason not to move it to October?
And yeah, then go into October 7th after that. So any immediate conflicts, I'm available those 3 Saturdays. If you want to do another 9 to noon session, those 2 minutes, if that's what you're wanting to see happen.
That was just a 12 or a 9 to 12.
That's what our pattern's been.
I would say we, perhaps we elect, I don't know, 30th or 7th or 7th and 14th as first and second options. Does anybody have any other ideas? Are you looking at your calendars?
7th and 14th work for me.
Yeah, September,
October.
yeah. Yeah.
So I will reach out to Vince. I'm not hearing anybody actively opposed to 7th and 14th. I'll email the board just to confirm when I have it locked into one of those. It doesn't require any action. I just want to be sure that folks are generally available.
Thank you. Community comments. Do we have any comments?
So Al and Tosh, this would be the part where we need the do an access to comment.
John, I can see the comments and there are none.
Oh, all right.
No,
Thank you.
she beat me to it.
We have it off the screen, but there's a way when there are comments to be able to see, but
Come up here, nobody, it just shows us joining the meeting and nobody has commented.
Thank you. Hearing no comments, community comments, board member comments.
Happy Bob on board. Great.
Happy to be here.
Carol, Bob?
No,
And congratulations.
Congratulations to Carrie Jones.
Yes.
Terry.
Yes.
Bob, welcome aboard. You've been 4 years. Yeah. Glad everybody's here today. Nice to meet you. Hope you have a really nice year. Very nice year. Yeah. Rachel, thank you. John, thanks so much. IT, thanks a bunch. And we're ready for a brand new school year. Ready to rock and roll. Kids, I wonder if they are.
Yeah, I don't think.
Still summer, can't talk about school yet.
We are not talking about summer or school in our house.
I wouldn't be either. Future agenda, September 13th, 2023 at 5:30 PM. Monthly school board meeting, Mr. Dodge's boardroom. November 9th to 11th, 2023 is the OSBA annual convention. That is Portland.
Yeah, and who so far has committed to that? Here we go.
The 9th through the 11th. Yeah. Right.
Jackson, no, not no more. No more. I don't get one.
I second that motion.
So no, Bonnie, you know.
Well, I'm up in the air because of medical possibilities.
Question. Do you want to, should we slate you down for a room and then you can cancel as needed?
Probably not.
Probably
I
not.
don't report it. It's winter time.
So we'll
Sorry,
check-
just-
we're checking with Carrie
I
Jones.
think there will be some good discussion about the rural caucus, and I think it would be great if anybody who's interested in joining, participating in the rural caucus was there. Certainly an opportunity to meet with other rural school districts, so I definitely recommend.
Is there any, if that cannot be done via Zoom or anything like that?
As far as I know, none of the sessions I attended are in a Zoom format.
Because there will be a lot of breakout sessions, and I don't think they've got capacity. They could probably do the general speakers, but I don't think they could record and present all the breakouts, so I'd be super surprised.
And I think that by then, the rural caucus should be getting legs. To do a year sort of preliminary, and then I think they're going to get to action. Presumably around that time, so.
Where is it, all the conventions?
The big hotel
It's the
down
Plaza,
the
it's
waterfront.
Oh, Marriott?
No, it's not the Marriott, it's it's right downtown. I mean, you basically, you drive in, you park your car, and you don't have to go anywhere or do anything. And, you know, the steakhouse is the nearest thing that's right there. Pretty convenient.
Right down the waterfront. As soon as everybody leaves, they'll pop in my head. Picture it.
When's the last time we got to tell you?
It's harder and harder to get a room in that hotel the longer you wait. So if you think you might, and we cancel a room, usually we won't get you.
John, I like the one they had in Bend a few years ago.
Again,
Like the one they had in Bend a few years ago.
similar sorts of opportunities, different location, a lot more people, a lot more school boards.
Oh, you know, it
This
is
is big.
the Marriott.
Yeah.
This was, you know, for a new board member.
So how far in advance, John, would you have to be allowed to cancel? Is it 24 hours in advance
So
or
you know, you get away with about a week
about a week
before, so.
before?
Charmin, you have any?
Yes, I just went to the summer conference, and I think it's imperative that our board members go to these trainings, not just for the information that they're giving, but for the education that you get from other board districts. It was like drinking from a fire hose, but there was so much information that I wanted to bring back. So if it's at all possible, I would suggest that everyone who's able to go to the conference in November. They will not offer it virtually.
Would you be able to give us any reports on that at another time?
I can.
Okay, great. Like, good job. Thank you.
Thank you for attending.
Yeah. Business to come for the board? Does anyone
wish to have a paper copy of the adopted budget for the year, I'm required to provide them to the board if you would like to have a copy.
That reference material is here in the office and we can access it at any time.
Don't say I never offered you anything.
How big is that? Okay, so we have, we do have another stack of policies that we need to be working on for next board meeting, is that correct?
Second part of I, we have J and K,
Do
so,
we have those available to the board yet?
yeah, Sherman's pretty ahead of me, since I don't know if she's got them ready right now, we have the material, might be a matter of copying it, so I have her reach out to you. If you've got it tonight, you could grab it on your way out, if not, we'll be able to get. Do your homework before the next meeting.
Yes. For our next meeting with you and then next meeting here. Okay, anything else? We're good. We are adjourned. Fine. Oh, jeez.
This is clear on the speaking fast.
That was impressive. Reading speed.
Yeah, yeah, both the essay and the speed.
Yeah.
And she got faster. I did think fast. I was like.
I bet she's been practicing all day.
Awesome.
Way to go, Al. Everything.